Well, we got week 8 upon us, and it couldn't come soon enough. Thanks for visiting again. I'm Lee, Eel Chief Sports. Last week, week 7, it was a choppy week for a lot of people, including myself. We did a 50-50 split. We won 7, we lost 7. We had a lot of upsets, a lot of sloppy play around, and it's getting. You could spend time and handicap all you want, but sometimes these games are just going to go the way that they go. But even on my quote unquote worst week, I still split 50-50. So so that shows, some strength there. So, that's the name of the game. The week before we had a, great week. We went, 11 out of 14. So we did 7-7. Let's see how we can do this week. Okay. All right, week 8 starting Thursday night. And it's funny that the Buccaneers are on Thursday night because that's the team that I want to talk about is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers were 13-point favorites on the road at Carolina. Carolina is on a third-string quarterback. They just traded Christian McCaffrey. They're on an interim head coach. They got blown out the week before against the Rams. And I am officially knocked out of my Survivor League because I took a 13-point favorite on the road, being the Buccaneers. I'm completely knocked out of my league. I can't believe it. I was going to take the Arizona Cardinals, but that was going to be a ballsy pick because Arizona lost the last 8 games at home, and I was this close. But then I switched my pick. But you know what? I am going to root the hell out of the Ravens. I hope the Ravens beat them. For some reason, they're actually underdog. They're betting the Buccaneers again, like they're going to miraculously fix things in 4 days. So give me the Ravens, Lamar Action Jackson, +1. I even get a point. I'm going to take that point, right? I'm going to take it right where it shines, up Tom Brady's kisser. That they score 3 points. If you score 3 points as the defending Super Bowl champion from 2 years ago, Tom Brady, who has 6 Super Bowl wins, and then you have him. You got all the drama with Giselle, and who knows how much he's even practicing. Florida had the hurricane disasters a few weeks back. All these excuses, excuses, excuses. But you should never be 13-point favorites and score 3 points the entire game. I mean, that is just embarrassing. And I don't even like the Buccaneers. I just like them enough to win that game because they don't even have to do that much. They couldn't even get it done. Give me the Ravens +1. I refuse to take the Buccaneers in this game. All right, that's Thursday night pick. So Lamar Action Jackson +1 to defeat the Buccaneers. All right, let's go to Sunday's games. Starts off 6. I'm in California, so -2.5 of the Jaguars. The Jaguars are facing. They're the representing home team. This game takes place in England. They are visiting London. They're going to be facing the Broncos. The Broncos are 2-5. The Jags are 2-5. So you got you have 4 wins combined with both teams heading over to England. Russell Wilson, I don't know if he's making the trip or not, but I know he's not going to be in uniform. And that's all that matters. The Jaguars they've been a disappointing team this year. They're a young team. They just traded away their running back, Robinson, to the Jets this past week. They do have another running back in set, but it just seems like they're 2-5. They're now they're going to the Jacksonville way. The Florida teams. I'm just gonna fade the Florida teams this week. I'm so fed up with Florida right now. You know what? I take that back. I'm gonna take the Jaguars -2.5. Why? Because they win in London. And if this game was not in London, I would not touch this game. Give me the Jags -2.5. Because they are in London, and London, they actually get respect. Can you believe it? So we got the Ravens +1. We got the Jags -2.5. Those are our first 2 plays. All right, moving on. We have the Carolina Panthers 2-5 at the Atlanta Falcons 3-4. Atlanta Falcons have covered every single game this year, with the exception of last week. Cincinnati had a nice homestand. I picked Cincinnati that game. I knew that was the one week to get off the Falcons. And I've been on the Falcons for the first 6 weeks. They've covered all 6 games. And the week I got off of them was the right week. So, there's been some, positives out of this for last week. I know a lot of people didn't do well last week, including myself, but I was still able to find some spots where I thought there was some weakness and there was some strengths. Do I trust the Panthers after what happened last week? They got their miracle win against Tom Brady. They're catching him at his low. I don't think the Panthers are a good team. The Falcons are -4, I believe, for this line, and they are. And that's what I'm going to take for this game. Give me the Atlanta Falcons in an NFC South matchup, -4. That's going to be my pick for this game. All right, and thank you very much for tuning in. My name is Lee with Eel Chief Sports. So please do subscribe with my channel and click the like button. So I'm getting better at this whole thing, And follow me on Twitter. I'm at Eel Chief. So that's where you could find me on there. Okay, we have a bunch of morning games, so let's just roll right through them. The Chicago Bears coming off a big Monday night victory against the Patriots. They're 3-4, heading to the Cowboys 5-2. Cowboys, this is their second home game in a row. They'll have Dak Prescott again. I know he came back last week. It was a close game against the Detroit Lions, but they ended up pulling away in the second half, and the Lions do what they do. Chicago Bears, they seem to be fundamentally a little better. I've been picking the Bears a little bit to cover. They don't win much, but they have been covering. They've been a quiet covering team, if you notice. They're not the worst team in the league. If I take the Bears here right now, in my current lines, the sportsbook I use is DraftKings, so I take these on Wednesdays. So this is the current line, 9.5. I'm going to take the points on this. Cowboys covered last week. Let's see if they could do it 2 weeks in a row. I'm gonna say they don't. So give me the Bears +9.5. Moving on, the Tua is back with the Fin Club 4-3. Miami Dolphins are at Detroit Lions 1-5. Detroit Lions, the 1 week when I was alive in my Survivor League, I was alive until this past Sunday. So I was dodging all these bullets, picking kind of lukewarm favorites, not the biggest chalk, because that's kind of how you have to play. You can't just pick heavy chalk, because I want some of the other people to take the heavy chalk, and that's how they get knocked out. I took the Lions week 2 against the Commanders, and that was they actually looked okay that game. And they haven't won since. So it's this might be the last year for Dan Campbell, even though they always have a coaching carousel over there in Detroit. I like Detroit. I've been picking Detroit sometimes. I'm going to pick Detroit here. That's where I'm leaning at. I believe the line is 3.5, and it is. Lions +3.5. It's not a big line, considering the game. They want you to take Miami. Sometimes you have to think that way. It doesn't always work that way. That's where we're going to go here. Maybe Detroit will lose by a field goal, but they're looking to win. So, and they do play better at home. So give me the Lions +3.5. All right, we got the Arizona Cardinals. That was one of my best plays last week. They're 3-4. They played against the Saints in the opening week Thursday Night Football against the Saints at home. Saints were up early, and then there was a couple of pick sixes, and the game got really lopsided kind of fast, especially towards the second half. They're at the Vikings. Vikings are 5-1. The Vikings are a team I typically play against. I know they're 5-1. They are coming off a bye, and they are better at home. But I've been having some success picking against them in the spread. The Cardinals, they play better in a dome. They typically play better on the road, but they didn't a couple weeks ago when they played Seattle. So I don't know what happened there. The Cardinals are a Jekyll and Hyde team. They need to put a couple of games together. They can't just win one, lose, win, and so forth. I'm gonna take the points on this one. Give me the Cardinals +3.5 points. All right. And moving on, we got a bunch of morning games still. Raiders 2-4. They're coming off a win against the Texans at home. They're at the Saints 2-5. The Saints are coming off the loss. The Saints have a lot of rest for this game, just as the Cardinals in the week before. So I tend to sometimes I always look for that. I do like when the team that plays, they played Thursday, so they get an extra 3 days rest. You got to factor these things against the Raiders. The Raiders are 2-4. They're playing better, but I'm not thinking they're that great of a team. The line on this game is only 1.5. So I'm going to take the Saints plus 1.5. A little extra rest. I don't think much of the Raiders. Plus, I'm a Chiefs fan. Let's go with the Saints plus 1.5. All righty. Okay, we got a AFC East matchup. 3-4 Patriots. Patriots are coming off a embarrassing loss against the Bears. It happens. At the Jets, 5-2. Jets are probably the biggest surprise this year, second to the Giants. The New York teams are doing well, but we still have another half of the season to go. So you don't know how these play out. Sometimes these teams do well in the beginning of the season. They just lost their running back. I know they have another running back coming in, the Jets. The Jets they're a gritty team. They're winning, but I think Bill Belichick has had the Jets number for the past decade. I know we have different personnel on both teams. The Jets are due for a loss. The Patriots need this one more than the Jets. Give me the Patriots, and the Patriots are -2.5. The Patriots are favorite in this game, which is a very interesting line because they want you to take the Jets. I'm going to take the Pats. I'm going to lay the 2.5 points on the road. All right. Pittsburgh Steelers 2-5 at the undefeated Eagles. This is the Pennsylvania Bowl. The Steelers, they're coming off a Sunday night. I actually picked the Steelers because they covered by 1 point against Tua and the Dolphins on Sunday Night Football. So, don't be afraid to take the point sometimes, because I'm not. And the way this year is going, these big, heavy favorites, they're not winning. And a lot of times you just take the points, and not always. It's a situational, it's game by game. But a lot of times I take the points. A lot of times it works. Steelers, they've covered for me a little bit this year. I'm going to take the Steelers again. The Steelers are plus 10.5 points. I'm probably going to need them, but I'm going to take it. All right, moving on. The 4-2 Titans are coming off a win against the Colts, and they're at the Texans. Texans are 1-4-1. The Texans are probably the best one-win team in the league, which isn't saying much because you got the Lions and there might be another team in there, but those are the two. The Texans, with Lovie Smith, they're a defensive team. They keep, if they keep the score low enough, then they have a chance. The Titans are playing better now. They're 4-2. They came off a bye last week, and they took care of the Colts in a division game. As long as Derrick Henry's healthy, which it looks like he is, I'm going to take in this game the Houston Texans +2. Why am I taking the Texans +2? Because it's a division game, and I think they're gonna take. It's a 2-point spread. So they want you to take the Titans. I'm going to go the other way. I'm going to take the Texans plus the 2.5. I think they're going to keep it close. I'm not saying the Texans are a good team. Is this my best bet of the week? No, it's not. But I'm going to give it a shot. +2 Texans. All right, moving on. Now we're in the afternoon games. The last game was in the afternoon. So was this one. Washington Commanders 3-4 is at the Colts 3-1. The Colts are now, they bench Matt Ryan. They're now with their other quarterback. And then they're hosting the Commanders 3-4. They're both on backup quarterbacks in this game. There's not really a whole lot to be said in this game. It's both these teams are struggling. They're very similar by the way, they both need to run the ball. They both need to score points. I think the Commanders' defense is probably a little bit better than the Colts, even though it's supposed to be the other way around. Juan Rivera, they had a big win last week against the Packers. That was one of our wins last week. The Packers are How many times are you going to lay the points with them? How many times? How many times? Well, I might be taking him this week, only because it's Sunday Night Football, but that game's in a couple minutes in this video. Give me the Commanders plus the 2.5. Why? Because it's an ugly game and you got to sometimes take the points. A lot of these, if you look at these scores in these past few weeks, the best team doesn't win. It doesn't win. Look what happened with Brady last week. 21-3. And he was 13-point favorite. So the spreads, anybody can beat anybody. So I'm going to take the points more than give the points. And that's what I'm going to do here. Commanders plus 2.5. All right, we got this is a tough game, and they always play each other tough. 49ers 3-4. 49ers coming off a bad beat last week against the Chiefs. The Chiefs, who are my favorite team, I actually picked the 49ers to win this game, at least keep it close. They went out to a 10-point lead, the Niners, and then that was pretty much it. Chiefs just smoked them, especially the second half. And then the Rams are coming off a bye, which they really need. They haven't traveled in a minute because they were at home the week before against the Panthers, and I had the Rams for that game to cover. That was actually the best play. I know the Niners typically have the Rams number in this situation, and they already beat him this year. The Rams cannot afford to lose this game. They cannot afford to lose this game. They had time to prepare. The Rams are plus 1.5. So guess what we're going to do? Best play of the week. I'm going to take the Rams right here, right now. Am I a Rams fan? A little bit. I'm a Chiefs fan. But give me the Rams plus 1.5. They're going to win this game outright. They need to win this game. It's a desperation game. I know the Niners just got Christian McCaffrey, but I'm going to roll with the Rams here. The Rams need to win this game. They cannot afford to be 2 games behind this team if they want to have any success in the second half of the season. They had a week off. They're at home. Rams, best play of the week. All right. Couple games left. We got the 6-1 Giants. Can you believe it? At the Seahawks, 4-3. 2 surprising teams are playing each other this week. So someone's going to be 5-3 or 7-1 in this game. That is amazing. This is a nice NFC game. It's going to be interesting to see how these teams do in the second half of the season. Because I know the Seahawks are playing much better than the Broncos. They don't need Russell Wilson or whatever his name was, right? What we're going to do here, this game is in Seattle. This is very similar to last week with the Giants. The Giants were 3-point underdogs on the road against Jacksonville. And so sometimes you get a little bit caught up in the odds and how they want you to bet. They wanted you to take the Giants last week, so I took Jacksonville. Well, shame on me. Jacksonville screwed up at the end like they normally do, and Giants won the game. Now here we are, exact same spot, same situation. A 6-1 team is underdog at a 4-3 Seahawks. So I'm going to give this one more shot just because they want you to take the Giants yet again. So the Giants are a team I typically don't play. I'm not going to play them this week. Give me the Seattle Seahawks minus the 3 points. All right, Sunday Night Football. We got the Aaron Rodgers, I've never seen him 11-point underdogs, especially in a game like this. The 3-4 Packers at the Buffalo Bills. Bills Mafia 5-1. Look, the Buffalo Bills, they're probably going to win the AFC, or they're going to give the Chiefs a good run for their money, or the Bengals, or another team that comes out of there. I thought the Chargers would be one of those teams, but they're just too depleted. The Packers, look, Aaron, I've been picking against the Packers, and that's been working out for me. That's been working out for us, including last week. They were 5.5-point favorites. Week before, they're big favorites. And I'm going the other way. They're not covering. They're not scoring enough points. They're not scoring enough points in the second half. They're just sometimes these quarterbacks are they've been in the league a little too long, and everybody that used to be there isn't there anymore. And it's just, they're not invincible. There's so much tape on these guys. They're just not playing the way that they want. I want to take the Bills and lay the points. I'm not. I'm going to take the Packers in this spot here. It's Sunday Night Football. It's on NBC. It's Aaron Rodgers. He has looked bad for many weeks, and I have not picked the Packers. I've been avoiding the Packers, and I've been winning. I'm going to flip it for this game, in this game only. Okay? This is my second best play of the week. The Packers, not to win. I mean, if they win, maybe. Unlikely. Take the points. I'm going to take the 11 points. Maybe they lose by 7 or 8. Okay? Packers, second best play of the week. And let's go to Monday Night Football. We have an AFC North showdown here on ESPN. 4-3 Bengals. They've been on a roll ever since they started 0-2 this year. They're at the Browns, 2-5. The Browns are a gritty team. They've been winning games up until like week 4, and then they just went on a really bad losing skid. And they've kept games close until as of late. I know the Browns. They played last week against the Ravens. They didn't win, but they did cover. And then we did have the Ravens, but I believe the Ravens were favored by 5.5 or 6 that game. So they did not cover. The Ravens tend not to cover, but they do win. So going back to the Browns, it's at home. This might be a lower scoring game. The Browns need this game. The Bengals are the better team. I'm gonna even get a little bit of a hook on it. It's 3.5. Give me the Browns plus 3.5. This could be a 3-point game. The Bengals don't always cover. So even though the Bengals are a better team, but it's a division game, we'll see how it goes. Give me the Browns plus 3.5. Okay, and those are my picks for week 8. Please do subscribe to my channel. I definitely can use some subscribers. Like my channel, and feel free and comment. And if you do have your own YouTube channel, sports related, of course, something kind of similar to this with more people. I know I'm just kind of talking to you guys, but I don't have anybody else to have a conversation with. I would love to hop on your show, and if you're interested, if you go to my description on my page, you'll get my email address on there, and just feel free and send me a message. And I would like to hop on your show or hop on this show. Maybe I'll hop on your show. Anyways, week 8 picks. Thank you very much.